sets, I come alive. The world keeps running, but I stand still, obeying your command, Yahuwah's will. No working hands, no toilet ground, only peace and joy abound. A day of rest, a gift so true, Yahuwah, I delight in you. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign I will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. No buy and sell it, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. A day for worship, a time to be with family close and heart set free. I hear your voice in stillness deep. You call me close, my soul to keep. Your love surrounds, your spirit leads. You give me rest, you meet my needs. Set apart from worldly ways, I lift my voice in songs of praise. Your covenant forever stands. I trust, obey, and lift my hands. The work is done, the table set. Your silent peace I won't forget. I breathe it in, I let it flow. A glimpse of what's to come, I know. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign I will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. From week to week this truth remains, a day of joy untouched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. No buy and sell it, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buy and sell it, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buy and sell it, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. From week to week this truth remains, a day of joy untouched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm good.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah YouTube channel. And we are absolutely blessed to have all of you guys, all of our family who are sitting alongside with us out here around our little itty bitty tiny brown table that we live out in the middle of these woolly wild jungles of Central South America. So it's with that I congratulate all of you guys on making it to this Shabbat reading that we're going to be doing. For those who have never ever heard anything about Yahuwah and the Torah before, my family and I, we believe that the laws, the statutes, and the commandments that are found in the first 5 books of Scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which is called the Torah. It has also been called the law. And it is one of these things that you have 40,000 different denominations of Christian religions. And they all say that this law has been nailed to the cross, to the stake. Imagine that. The words of the creator of the universe have no value to the majority of this so-called religious system that is out there. And so it is my family and I that we believe that all of these laws are not only extremely valuable, but according to what the scriptures say, are literally the keys to life and death. You see, our Messiah, there were no J's in Hebrew, so those of you may call him Jesus, but his Hebrew name is not called Jesus. There was never a Hebrew man's name walking around. His name was not Jesus. His name is Yahushua. You could say Yeshua. That is a far closer cry than the pagan name that they have given in the name of Jesus. But that's not a salvation thing, not actually knowing the proper name. What is a salvation thing is whether or not we abide and keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of our Creator. Now, one of the things that as we understand what salvation is, it's not once saved, always saved. It's not something that is easily achieved. It's not something that you can raise your hand at 8 years old or be dunked in a tank or have some filthy priests sit and sprinkle water on you for salvation. None of that is anything in Scriptures. It doesn't exist in Scriptures. So the 40,000 different denominations of Christianity alone have a way forward that they believe will get them saved. But when we look at simple text in the Scriptures alone, from the front of the book to the very end of the book, there is no such thing as a set and forget. There is no such thing as a religious system that's going to take you into the kingdom of our Creator. What you get salvation by is fear and trembling. It is by repentance. It is by walking the narrow path. And there's a wide range of destruction that leads to the left and the right. And it's very easy for us to get on the wrong path. Now, keeping the commandments of our Creator is the first step. According to Revelation 14:12, the people who are saved have two different things. Number one is they have the laws, statutes, and commandments written on their heart, mind, and soul, and they abide by them. The second is that they have the faith of our Messiah, of our Mashiach, our Levitical priest, who is going to be leading the kingdom to come in the New Jerusalem. And when you have these two keys, then we have a much, much better shot at eternity in a place of happiness, joy, contentment, peacefulness, versus all of the texts in the Scriptures that talk about the bad parts of Sheol, the places we don't want to get. And when you read the very last verse in Isaiah, it very clearly gives you a kind of a darkness that when the people who have rejected the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of our Creator, their bodies are eaten by worms that never ever stop. It is some sort of a horrible place, an entire eternity that has no expiration date. We've never heard anywhere in Scriptures that eternity is something of a timeline, that you just have to go for a certain place. And so we have an opportunity in the world that we are in right now to get in line with our Creator, or by default, we are not in line. And if we are not loyal to our Creator, why would we ever expect to get something good when our death occurs? And so it's one of these things that if we want to align our lives with our Creator, we must align our lives with His ways. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Father, thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us and bringing us all together once again. We thank you for Shabbat. We thank you for your feast times, the month of feasts we are in. We ask that your will is upon us, that your Ruach HaKodesh is upon us today as we dive into your word, as we seek out your command and we seek out your way of life. And we thank you for giving us this day of rest, setting us this day apart, that we can have this day for you, to celebrate with you. We thank you for blessing this family, bringing all the people that we have here with us today, bringing them all together across the world through technology, that you are willing to share very Shabbat with us. We thank you for all. In His name, amen.
Okay, so here we are, everybody, and yes, for those who are in feast times, we are in it. And this year, it's kind of, it doesn't really matter which calendar you are on. We are all kind of in a feast time right now. We are in the middle for, if you're on the second part of the Zadiki calendar, there's like a couple different Zadiki calendars. The calendar we are on has us in the middle of Sukkot. And so the boys' necks are all cranked from these little cots that we have, and it is a splendid time, right? This is a month of high Shabbats. This is a month where, as business owners down here where we are at, we have to hang a sign on the door and we don't show up for work in the middle of the week. And so it's one of these things that our Creator has made us set apart in various ways, that we don't do what the rest of the world does. And as you keep His appointed times, sometimes you can't go to work. Sometimes it's something that on a high Shabbat that we're not supposed to. But for those of you guys who are celebrating the appointed times, congratulations. And again, there's no rocks or stones to be thrown in this avenue, because if you have a calendar and you have picked a calendar and you are keeping these appointed times, congratulations. That is what loyalty is. We might have the dates wrong. We might have something wrong, but we have a Messiah who is en route, who is going to help us get this all dialed in and take care of us. Jade, will you please Shema our brothers and sisters?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay, these are some incredible words, right? Hear, O Yisrael. Now, if you guys are looking for a tribe, if you guys are looking for a religious system name, well, the thing about the Torah keeping is it's not really a religious system. It is a lifestyle. It is something that when you start observing the laws and statutes and commandments of our Creator, it's not something that you just get up on a Sunday and go to a Sunday church. It's something that when we understand that the laws, the statutes, and the commands were given to mankind for the way forward. It's our knowledge bank. It's a set of directions and instructions that without them, we're really lost. We really have no idea where to go in this world. And when you look at the different covenants that our Creator has given to us, all the Christians will talk about the new covenant. Oh yeah, we got the new covenant. We're in the new kids club. And they've never even read the new covenant. They see things inside of Hebrews 8 that goes, oh, if we didn't have the new covenant, the old one has waxed away. It is gone. It is bad. They don't realize that the old covenant is bad because the people disobeyed. The reason that we couldn't stick in the old covenant, when you read scriptures, is essentially that the people, the children of Yisrael, for years and years and years, generations over and over and over, did not keep the laws, the statutes, and commandments of our Creator. So they got booted out. They got tossed into captivity. Our Creator divorced them. That's what this was all about. And to get an annulment of this divorce, we needed a Messiah to come and shed his blood so that we have a Melchizedek priest. We have a Levitical priest who's there. So if you're looking for a tribe or somebody, there's no better place to be called than Yisrael, to be called an Hebrew person, a Hebrew. And so right here in this Shema, it's talking to all of us. And the very first thing that we are told to do is that we love our Creator with all of our heart, with all of our being, and with all of our might. Now, when you look at that text in context, if you love something with all of your heart, you're not going to hate the things that our Creator has said. If you have nailed the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator to the cross and say they don't apply to your life, right out of the gate, you can't say that you love your Creator with all your heart. But I've had many, many, many discussions with the Christians, and they all say, oh, we love God. We love him. We love him with all our heart, mind, and soul. But we hate his words. We hate his instructions. But we have the 10 commandments, but there's that 4th commandment that says we should keep the Shabbat. But we don't love that one, right? Because we can have any day we want because that's the Lord's day. We've made up all these rules and regulations of our own that don't actually say in scriptures anything of the sort. And so what our Moshe was talking about, what our Creator instructed Moshe to say, is that these words, which is the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, that they are in our hearts. We impress them on our children. We speak of them when we sit in our house, when we walk by the way, when we lie down, when we rise up, and we bind them as a sign on our hand, and there's frontlets between our eyes. What that means is we do not do anything in our life without doing it through the lens of the Torah. And when you understand that the Torah is everything for us, then life changes dramatically, because you're not going to get yourself into the same kinds of situations that the raging Gentiles who are Torahless get themselves into. So guys, there is a lot of value into the Torah. In fact, it is a life or death situation when it comes to the Torah. Miss Nicole, will you please greet our brothers and sisters?
All right, we have Razul, Yeshayahu, Candy and Ruby, Sarah and William, Danny Boy, Brandy and family, Sue, daughter of Yah, Jeremy and Callan, Anthony D, new name, welcome to you, Yahuwah, remove our stony hearts, Sylvia, Joanna, loving Yah, Josh Rhodes, I'm probably going to slaughter this, but Yah, Malachiah, welcome to you. Let's see who else. Misty. And I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
All right. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Much love to everybody. Sylvia put it in there right. Torah is life. Yes. None of us would want to go through the life we have without the Torah because it has no purpose. Life has zero purpose if we don't have a Torah. When our Messiah says in Matthew 7, depart from me, you who are Torah-less, if you have a Messiah, but you do not have the Torah, your life is useless. It's not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to take us from point A to point B successfully. And for us who are Torah observant, those who love our Messiah, Yahushua, our point A to point B is the kingdom to come. We want to be in a world where everybody is under the Torah of our Creator. That's what point A to point B is. And so what we're doing right now is we are going to go through these laws, these statutes and commandments, these things that are so valuable. They're worth more than silver. They're worth more than gold. They're worth more than everything. And this app that you're looking at right here is called the Yah Scriptures app. And it is very, very popular. There's been a tremendous amount of people that have downloaded this. Many thousands. And it is something that people love worldwide. And it's something very, very spectacular. By this time next week, we should have, I believe, the Apple version of our Swahili out, and we will be working on getting the Android version of Swahili. So I don't know if any of you guys know anybody who speaks Swahili, but that language is coming out, and we're finishing up Hindu as we speak, and that is a very hard language to translate this stuff into. And if you guys could keep us all in your prayers, we always have the powers of darkness that are always trying to stop us from distributing these, and we're hoping that we were able to keep them on the App Store for as long as possible. So these laws, statutes, and commandments are in the Yah Scriptures app. It's under this little tag right here that says Torah commands, the very first big blue box right there. And let's get going. If you got questions, if you've never ever heard these, we recite these and we go through them every single bot because it's something that as you guys hear them, and we hope that you will apply them to your lives. So you know that when people are like, the laws are dead, you're like, that's crazy. Why in the world would you ever want these laws to be dead? That's just insanity. So commandment number 1 is be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
3, replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature. The herb bearing in every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every moving that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect. Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Reiterated more times than any other commandment in Scriptures, guys, is the guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
Teach children the command and go the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and Hebrew. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images. Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep this Shabbat, the Sabbath day.
Honor your parents. Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that tool touch. Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beast.
No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress stranger, fatherless, or widow. Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil. Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray. Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes. Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah. Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of land.
Do not make use of anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make use of perfume on a normal person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for a wife. Do not laugh at a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite. Be Kodesh, holy.
Do not reap the corn in your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled. Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed. Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead. Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple. Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruit, Shavuot, Omer count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah. Keep the feast of goat, Shem and Yatzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Obel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you trespassed against. The Torah of being a Nazir.
Wear Ezekiel on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse. Follow Yahuwah's Torah of inheritance.
The Torah, the law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word. Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart. Bind the laws on your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah. Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah. Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name. Destroy graven images. Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim. Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets. Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger of clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it. Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations. Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah. You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses. And hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. Prophetess of Deuteronomy. Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is get double portions. If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A man should not wear what pertains. A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the babies and the mother, take the babies but not the mother. If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money. Torah of divorce.
And do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge. Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the rotten sheep in the field, leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow. Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay, so there you guys go. These are these beautiful, perfected laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And as you can see, there's nothing in here that is what you would say bondage or oppression or all of the lies that the religious systems have said are excuses for not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. When you talk to those in the religious system and you tell them how exciting these laws, statutes, and commandments are, they get this look in their eyes and they're like, oh, you're a heretic. Why would you ever want to go back to the days of Moses? And you would say, well, the days of Moses is when our Creator actually physically walked amongst his people in a cloud by day and fire by night. When he was around in between the two cherubim, between the ark, when he spoke to Moshe directly, when he spoke to Joshua, Yahushua directly. These are the days that we long for, that the Creator of the universe will actually consider us valid enough to come down and hang out with us. So those were the days when the laws, statutes, and commandments were given to the people of Yisrael, and our Creator said, keep these for all generations, all times, all peoples, all nations, everybody. There is no expiration date to these, and you would have to be a fool if you think they don't apply to you in your life today. Now, I know those are hard words because a lot of people, you don't have many Torah keepers that are out there. It's a very, very niche thing, niche. However you want to say that word, niche. It is one of these things that there's not a lot of people. Second Ezra very clearly says the majority of the people are like a wave of water compared to a drop. Most people will not make this kingdom, and so we are the anomaly. We are meant to look different, smell different, taste different, be a totally different people, which is why keeping these appointed times right now sets us apart for all these things. And so again, for everybody who's out there that's doing this, congratulations for keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay. Yah Malakia is wondering where she can find the list. The list is either Yahoo at the Torah or in the app. So if you grab the app from either Android store or Apple store, it's 100% free of charge. And shout out to Sister Barb, who I just saw pop in as well. And Chris, who goes by the name Yah Scriptures. He's not actually Yah Scriptures. He's more of like I think like a fan club, I think is how we would say it. I think there was a little bit of confusion last week in some of this stuff, but he's just a brother who goes by the name Yah Scriptures, but he's not the Yah Scriptures, just so in case anybody has any misunderstanding. Let's see, loving Yah. I personally do not believe in polygamy, more than one wife. I've had discussion with some of my family members who do. In the scriptures, there's mention of marrying your brother's wife. That is a Torah command. And I would say, there's a lot of discussion up into this. We've always had it. How do
I defend it?
How do you defend believing in polygamy? Not believing in it. Well, I mean, that's the thing is it's not a you have the old way. We've talked about the polygamy before, and there was a time in the world when more than likely it was very essential, when there wasn't a lot of population out there. You see, back in the days, in the days of Abraham, in the days of Isaac and Jacob, you're not going to want to just have a itty bitty tiny family with one or two kids, right? You would be sitting there in your little farmhouse and you'd be sitting there milking your goats, and all of a sudden some raiders would come by, and it didn't matter how many servants you have, you're not going to be able to defend your family. You're going to be wiped out pretty quickly, right? And so when you see things like the children of Jacob, it's essentially he ended up with 4 different wives, right? He ended up with 2 legitimate wives, I guess, and then 2 servants who were. And when you look at this, when you look at scriptures in of itself, the entire concept of polygamy, it never went over well when it came to a relationship standpoint. I've never found a single group of people, and I know people even today who are polygamists and but they, it's one of these things, you're gonna break somebody's heart, right? You're gonna break the heart of a wife. it's not something that you're going to build a strong family with. Back in the days, again, there was a reason for this. But if you're trying to make it work in today's world, number one, it's illegal in most countries, right? There's a couple countries, obviously the Middle East, I'm sure it's legitimate, okay, but anywhere in North America, I don't think down here in Central America it's legal, and it's something that if you're going to attempt this, you're going to be breaking the law, and you could very much get swept away and go to prison, and then who's going to take care of the wives, right? All of these crazy things. So it's also looking at Messiah Yahushua. When we're talking about the Besorah in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, he's very, very clearly is for a single marriage. He's very, very clear about this. And again, it was set for a time and it's set for a purpose. That being said, it's not against the Torah, but I've never found it successful that anybody has ever done it. So not that I've seen, and I'm sure maybe there's some people out there. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you could really isolate one of the wives and take them in and talk to them and say, "Are you happy that you are you're a wife of wives? Is this something are you content? Is your heart, and that's the thing is." When man and woman was meant to be together, right? It's the bonding of two people for one flesh, right? That's what this was always about. It was Adam and Kawa. It was not Adam and Kawa and Lucy, right? And it was never. It was set for a certain purpose. So anyway, I hope that helps somewhere into this. Hey, the Grand is here. Yep. Wow, she hasn't been here forever. Much love to you. Much love. Okay. First couple Adam and Kawa as well. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things that it's messy. Multiple wives in the day. It's messy, and usually it's not. I mean, you're not going to have the marauders come by and wipe out your entire wife and two kids, right? Those days have come and gone. We don't live in those days right now, and so trying to make this work and keep everything scriptural. But at the same time, there's a ton of people out there that will throw rocks at me for saying this because I believe in one man and one woman, and I always will. And so I always defend the unity of a single family line in this, and it just doesn't make any sense. The Grand, we missed you. We didn't know where you were. Everybody's really worried about you. Glad you are back. Okay, so here we are. We are into the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy. Jaden, will you please recap us where we're at, what's happening to get us caught up?
Yep, we are getting a recap of the entire journey starting back from Egypt. When the people were enslaved in Egypt, Moses was sent by the hand of Yahuwah. He freed them and got them out of there. And then they had a lot go on. The Egyptians drowned in the Red Sea. The sea parted, they crossed over. They got into some fights with some people coming out of there. They won. They ended up claiming some land. They went against Yahuwah, sinned against him, started worshiping other mighty ones, rose up against Moses and Israel. And every time someone rises up, something bad happens to a lot of people. The people that fall low, those people, they ended up dying. They went astray and started worshiping other Elohim right just a little after coming out of the land. And they got killed too, so a lot of slaughtering happened. In the last chapter, Moses was recounting all the stops they made along the way, and that Yahuwah told that he lost his spot in the promised land because he didn't obey Yahuwah like he said, and Yahuwah let him see in the land, but that was all he got.
Yeah, and so for everybody, when you read the scriptures, you start at Genesis, you read it all the way till you make it to the what they call the New Testament, the Besorah, the good news. It's a genealogy. It is a historical book of all the things that happened. Now, the thing is, the Bible could very well continue to be still written, right? For all of us in all of our lives today. Because nowhere in scriptures, just because it ended in Revelations, does the ways of the Father end. We are in what I believe is the very last end times. I believe that I don't think there's too many generations left. Looking at the world that's happening right now, I don't think there's any better time than this moment today to dedicate your life to our Creator and to His ways, to the Torah, to our Messiah, right? putting this off and, just staying with the Gentiles is a very, very bad mistake. And so the scriptures don't end just because you get to the end of the book. We are supposed to be living the word of our Creator. We are supposed to be living the Torah. The first 5 books of scriptures are supposed to come to life in our lives, that it is something that never ever ends, it never ever expires, and it's something that we lead all of our families and especially ourselves into the future. And so, guys, this is where all the people of Israel, they walked with our Creator, but yet when Moshe died, when Joshua died, everybody started worshiping other Elohim. Everybody else started going astray. You had the southern tribes of Israel that went into Babylon. You had the northern tribes that are basically in captivity to this day. Bible prophecy has not returned the 10 tribes of Israel. And so all of us could very well be a part of the scriptures of today, because the end times people are the people that start realizing that the laws of our Creator, the Torah, apply to all of us today. It becomes so important to us that we become these lost tribes that are returning to our Creator. And when you read the book of Hebrews, and particularly Hebrews 8, it very clearly tells us that the end tribes people all keep the laws. You can turn to your neighbor, you can turn to the left, you can turn to the right, but everybody keeps the laws of our Creator. So with that, let us get into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4. And now, O Yisrael, listen to the laws and the right rulings, which I am teaching you to do, so that you live and shall go in and possess the land which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers is giving you. Now, we could totally take this particular verse and it applies to all of us today, right? I discussed this before, that if you're looking for a label, then a good one is to be called a Hebrew, right? The word Hebrew simply means crossed over one. So this is, again, listen, guys, listen to the laws and the right rulings, which Moshe is teaching you to do, so that you live, and shall go in and possess the lands which we now have, that our Creator has given to us. Your house, whatever it is, whether you rent, whether you lease, whatever it is, you are where you are because the hand of our Creator has given you protection and has kept you alive. So all of this goes today. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I am commanding you. Right out of the gate, this second verse destroys religious systems, right? If you want to pick apart any religious system, I'm here for you, right? Catholics, right? You go into a little box, you have some guy who's probably some sort of a pedophile, maybe not, but it seems like they all are, and he's absolving you of your sins. You sit there and you can tell him all your crimes, even up to a murder, and this guy can tell you to do 7 Hail Marys and call it good. Yeah, you're good. You're free, right? They'll throw some water on you. They'll give you a little bit of crackers, and you drink some wine along with the priest, right? All of these things are things that we have not been commanded to do. Sunday worship. Worshiping on the Sunday. Okay, so we're worshiping on a Sunday. You tell the Christians, guys, we're supposed to be keeping the 7th-day Shabbat. They're like, oh no, Jesus came and that's the Lord's day. We can worship any day that we want to. Well, it doesn't say this. All of these, every single precept that is in a Christian religion, that is in a Mormon religion, that is in any of these religions, is breaking this commandment. Verse 2 is a commandment that we are breaking by not keeping the Torah as we should be keeping it. So this is nothing new, right? But yet here we are in this world, and nobody cares. Nobody seems to worry, and nobody cares. Verse 3, your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did at Baal Peor. Yahuwah your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you, who are clinging to Yahuwah your Elohim, are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me to do thus in the land which you go to possess. Guys, this is the same thing. We're in a land right now that our Creator has given to us. We are in the land of the Gentiles, right? Every single one of us are in the rotten lands. We are amongst people who are not Torah keepers. They do not care about the law, statutes, and commandments. Some are pagans. Some are even worse than that. But yet we have these laws and right rulings that are found in the first 5 books of Scriptures. This is what Moshe is talking about right now. And if you know the laws and the rules and the regulations, which is why we go over them every Shabbat, this is what our Creator has commanded us to do. And when we keep them, it will go well with us. It doesn't mean our life is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that our power isn't going to get cut. It doesn't mean that we might not have some food in the future, right? All of these things in this life are a testing ground. When you read the book of the Nazarene, it is very, very clear that our lives are a testing ground. And there's no better place than earth to test the human beings out. Whether or not we're going to be loyal, whether or not we're going to be faithful, whether or not we are going to be children of the Most High. 6, and you shall guard and do them. Guard what? The laws, the statutes, and commands. For this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples who hear all these laws, and they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. Now, the problem is the people of Yisrael failed. They fell into folly. And, you know, when you look at just North America alone, right? North America used to be close to a country. They called themselves under God. And the country was based upon Freemasons. It was built on Freemasons. It was never really based upon God. But we used to have more of a religious side where we used to have the 10 Commandments in all the courthouses, right? We used to, sodomy used to be frowned upon. And now it's like, they dress up all the librarians in strange clothes and they teach the kids and they do all this crazy stuff, right? But we have a set of guidelines. We have them, and we are told in this verse that we need to guard and do them. When we say Shema, it means hear and obey. For this is our wisdom and our understanding before the eyes of the people. 7, for what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it as our Elohim is to us whenever we call on him? And what great nation is that has such laws and right rulings like all this Torah, which I put before you this day, right? This is the same stuff. Moshe is telling all of this today, right? None of this stuff is new. Moshe is telling us who amongst all the people in this world have such laws and righteous right rulings like the Torah, which we have been presented with, right? Who else has it, right? There is no other religious system. There's no other place that's out there that has these. So if you are a Torah observant person, be very, very happy and thankful that our Creator has pulled you apart and has allowed you guys eyes to see and ears to hear, because there is hundreds of thousands of people, if not billions of people inside of these religious systems that don't have a Torah, they don't care, and they don't want a Torah. 9, only guard yourself and guard your kai. Guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen. What word? The first 5 books of Scriptures, the Torah, the laws, the most beautiful things that we've ever seen. Unless they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life. Right? This is what the laws of our Creator are supposed to be. They are supposed to be something that is in our hearts, that is in our minds, that is in our souls. It's supposed to be something part of our life. And you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren. Okay, well, a lot of people are like, well, the laws are dead. They're gone. They're taken away. We don't have these in our lives. Well, they're not in your life because you have not applied them to your life. The laws should be something that our children should hear, our grandchildren, our grandchildren's children, all of them, everything. If we are raising our families up in a lawless world, then we are violating the laws of our Creator that have told us that we need to pass these beautiful things on to our children. And again, if you are a law-abiding citizen of the kingdom to come, thank our Creator that He has opened your eyes, because we didn't grow. Nicole and I did not grow up in a based family. We grew up in straight up raging Gentiles. It is beyond luck that we're even, it's the hand of Elohim, not luck, that we are with you before you today, even explaining this, because it's just none of our parents did this to us. And our children, we have, it wasn't until they were like 10 or 11 that we even got into Torah at all. And had we not gotten into Torah, then our kids would have been wilder than they absolutely are right now. 10. The day you stood before Yahuwah, your Elohim, in Korah, Yahuwah said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to revere me all the days they live on the earth and teach their children. Okay, when you take the laws of our Creator and you nail them to a cross, you are not revering your Creator. You're not respecting Him. You have no loyalty to Him. You're less than what you should be, right? That is what we are called to do today, is that we are called to be observant of the laws, statutes, and commandments, and loyal to our Creator. 11. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the Shamayim, darkness and cloud, dense cloud. And Yahuwah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 words. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. Okay, Christians will say, well, we only have 10 commandments. That's all we got. And of course, they don't keep the Shabbat. Imagine if they actually started keeping the 10 commandments, which they claim are their rule set, right? The Christians have 2 rules, right? We're supposed to love God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and our neighbor as ourselves. And they're like, that's all the Torah that we have to do. But yet there's things like don't harm the disabled. Take care of your business properly. Don't look at your children naked with lust in your eyes. All of these things should be written on our hearts, minds, and souls, so that we know when we violate these, and we know our kids know when they violate these. We've just allowed our children to go into this world carte blanche as destructive, maniacal people that are Gentile related, just like we were. Continuing on, 14. Commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Just because you guys aren't going into the land which Moshe is talking about, we're all in captivity, guys. We are in foreign lands. We are waiting in exile. We are waiting the second Exodus. And we're told to teach, that we're told to know these laws and right rulings, right? These things have never expired. They are extremely important to all of us. Moshe continues on, therefore diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahuwah spoke to you at Korah out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the Shamayim, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And lest you lift up your eyes to the Shamayim, and shall see the sun, and the moon, and the stars, all the hosts of the Shamayim, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Yahuwah your Elohim has allotted to you, all the peoples under all the Shamayim. So, when you look at the Catholic religion, you have St. Peter, you have Mary, you have Paul, you have all of these idols. Tons of idols. In fact, they got Mother Mary everywhere. And they made idols to everything. When you guys get a Christmas tree and you have your little children kneeling down to what is essentially the pictation of Nimrod's phallus. It's adorned in gold. It's adorned in silver. It has a crown at the top of it, right? They get on their knees and bow. Right? You're breaking all of these commandments by simply bringing a Christmas tree into your house and allowing your children kneel in front of it and open their presents, right? It's all part of Saturnalia. It's all part of the occult system. It's all part of satanic, demonic entities that are making everything, it's Jesus's birth. He was not born that time. Guys, all these things, right? We're not supposed to have any carved images. We're not supposed to have any of this stuff. We're supposed to be pure people, right? If you have these kind of things in your house, get rid of them. Dump them. Don't bow down to anything. We have an Elohim who is a life force amongst us, and we don't bow to anybody except our Elohim Most High. 20. But Yahuwah has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance, as it is today. And Yahuwah was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over the Yarden, and that I would not enter the good land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. Now, he was enraged. Yahuwah was enraged because Moshe broke the commandment of our Creator. Moshe was supposed to speak to the rock, and Moshe got a little angry, and he smashed the rock, and water came out of it, which was something that our Creator, so this was big. This is where our Creator wanted him to gently speak to the rock, and Moshe did not do that. And so this is why Yahuwah was enraged with Moshe. This is why he did not make it into the promised land, and why he was only able to see it from the top of the mountain. 22, for I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Yarden, but you are passing over and shall possess that good land. Again, he says something that is the base of this entire chapter. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any likeness Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Now, a lot of people don't understand what a covenant is. A covenant is a lot like your lease. You will go for a house lease. People will go and they will rent a house. I'm sure all of you guys out there at some point in your lives have rented a house. You go and you get your landlord will provide you a lease. And in the lease, it has their name. It has your name. It has the stipulations of this. It says either you or they will pay for the garbage. You or they will pay for water. You or they will pay and make sure that your grass is taken care of and it doesn't become a junk heap. All of these things right here. At the very bottom of this covenant, at the covenant of a lease, the landlord will sign their names and you will sign your name. And with that, you will get a copy of it, and the landlord keeps a copy of it. And if your landlord allows the house to go to a bad place, pipes are breaking, everything's going in, it's the responsibility of the landlord, then you can legally sue the landlord for these kind of problems. But if you are destructive, you're lighting off fireworks in the house, you're burning the house down, you have a meth lab or something, this is something the landlord's going to say, hey, you need to get out. Now, we all have a covenant that our Creator has given to us. It's as simple as this. If you will keep my laws, my statutes, and my precepts, you will be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Signed, Yahuwah, right? Yahuwah's there. If we want to be this. And this same covenant is the covenant for all of us today. It has not changed. It has never changed. When Messiah Yahushua came and died on the stake, he did not break this covenant. This covenant's never been broken. He did not come with a little rebel flag saying, come my way. He came in the name of his Father. He came with the same rules as his Father. And it's the same thing. Messiah did not change the ways of our Creator. The laws are still in effect for all times, all generations. And so guard yourselves, my friends. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahuwah, which he made with all of us. 24, for Yahuwah your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make a carved image in any likeness, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yahuwah your Elohim to provoke him, I shall call the Shamayim, the heaven and earth, to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Yarden to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. Now, the focus on this is the idols, because this was a major thing that all of Yisrael had a massive problem with. They came out of Egypt. Egypt is the land of corruption. It's the land of demigods. It's the land of all of these idols and all these things, and they couldn't get rid of it. There was always this breaking point inside where these guys couldn't stop themselves. But this same thing where Moshe is talking about calling the Shamayim and earth to witness against us on this day, this is for any of the laws, statutes, and commandments. When we went over the list of Torah commands that are from Genesis to Deuteronomy, It's the same thing. We are told that this is part of the covenant. If we want to be a child of the Most High, then we sign our name and we keep this. If we want to be a child of the devil, if we're good with Hastatan running our life, then we have no laws. They are nailed to the cross. They're nailed to the tree. We don't have to do anything because blah, 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 blah. We are better than the creator of the universe, right? That's what the religious system of this world says. Continuing on. 27. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the Gentiles where Yahuwah drives you. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we have awoken in the land of the Gentiles. And if you guys are North America, you guys know that North America has fallen from grace. It is one of these things that we're all scattered, right? When you look at Bible prophecy, when you read the book of Hosea, it talks about the northern 10 tribes that are distributed across the world and have blended in with the nations. We awaken in these end times. Those of us who are seeking our Creator, we awaken from among the Gentiles, and all of a sudden we start learning these Torah commands. We start walking these Torah commands, and we start looking and living much differently than all of those around us. 28. And there you shall serve mighty ones, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But from there you shall seek Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all your heart and with all your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall what? Put the laws of our Creator on the cross? That we shall not keep the Torah? Oh, that we shall return to Yahuwah your Elohim and shall obey his voice. What is his voice? Gentlemen, what is his voice?
The Torah.
The Torah. That's the only time that we have our Creator that has given a voice of exactly how he wants us to live, how he wants us to operate, what he wants us to do. That's his voice. And so in the latter days, we have this opportunity to come back to our Creator. 31. For Yahuwah, your Elohim, is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. If you will obey my laws, my statutes, and my commands, I will be your Creator, and you will be my people. That is the covenant. That is the same covenant that is found also in Hebrews 8. The renewed covenant, the covenant that Christians all think they want to be a part of. And when you read Hebrews 8, it's for two groups of people. The people of Yisrael and the people of Yahudah. It's not the house of Christian. It's not the house of Mormon. It's not the house of Catholic. It is for the house of Yisrael or the house of Yahudah. And you need to pick which tribe you want to be in. And you don't pick a tribe unless you are keeping the laws and statutes and commandments. And then you are in the clique. You're in the club. 32. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth. And ask from one end of the Shamaim to the other end of the Shamaim, whether there has been a word as great as this, or has been heard like it. Right? That's the question, right? Has there ever been a word such great as the Torah from one end of the Shamaim, from one end of the heaven to the other end? Is there such a thing? Right? Let's look at the religious system. Let's look at what the Christians believe, right? You can bow down. You can sit with your little preacher. You can have an altar call. You can come up there and you can get baptized by some dude. He can give him your 10% of your money. But yet, when you look at what do Christians believe, it's foul. When you look at what religious systems believe, it is foul. When you look at Judaism in of itself, it is foul. And it is foul because it takes out and it has other parts of scriptures, right? People ask us this all the time, are you guys Jews? And we're like, no, absolutely not. Because Jews break the commandment that says do not add to and do not take away from the Torah. They have a tremendous hundreds, if not thousands of other commands, including black magic, which is called the Kabbalah and the Zohar, and all of these other things, which are Babylonian mysticism that have gotten passed down throughout the years. We don't have a religious system, right? We have the word of our Creator that we keep. For continuing on, 33. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and live? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials and by signs and by wonders and by battle and by a strong arm and an outstretched arm and by great fearsome deeds, according to all that Yahuwah your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it, to know that Yahuwah himself is Elohim. There is no one beside him. From the Shamayim he let you hear his voice, to instruct you. And on earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them and brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance as it is today. And you shall know today, and shall recall to your heart, that Yahuwah himself is Elohim in the Shamayim above, and on the earth beneath. There is none else. How are we wrapping this up, Moshe? Well, and you shall guard his laws and his commands, which I command today, so that it is well with you and with your children after you, and so that you prolong your days on the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you for all time. This is the same thing that goes with all of us today, guys. All of us, right? What did we get out of this chapter today, right? Guard the laws, guard the precepts, guard the commands. If you want to be a child of the Most High, this is the instruction manual for this. 41. Then Moshe separated 3 cities beyond the Yarden toward the rising of the sun. For him who killed someone to flee there, he who kills his neighbor unintentionally without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Betzor in the wilderness, in the level land for the Reubenites, and Ramoth and Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan and Bashan for the Menashonites. And this is the Torah. Oops, I just went crazy. And this is the Torah which Moshe put before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses and the laws and the right rules which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim beyond the Yarden, in the valley opposite Beit Peor, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt in Keshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had smitten after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amorites, who were beyond the Yarden toward the rising of the sun, from Arar, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Kerman, and all the desert plain beyond the Yarden, as far as the sea of the Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. All right, there we go, everybody. That was an intense chapter. That is one of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chapters. It's incredible. It's just a beautiful, beautiful chapter, and you really can't go wrong with Deuteronomy. You really can't go wrong with Scriptures at all. Okay, we are on Lucas, chapter 22, and can one of you guys give this? I'm fascinated here. Now we have Yah Scriptures Youth. Here we are.
I'm thinking it's Chris.
Is it Chris too?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm assuming it is.
Great. Chris is our little fan club of Yah Scriptures, and there's a lot of people out there that really, really like Yah Scriptures. It is a great Scriptures. So we've been blessed by the hand of our Creator to even be able to touch His Word, and we're very, very thankful that our family has enjoyed it. Okay, we're on 22. Jade, will you please give us a breakdown of where we are at?
We are in the life of Messiah. He is in Jerusalem for close to the final time, and he saw people putting coins and giving donations to the temple and stuff like that. And there's a little widow. She put in 2 small coins, all she had, and he said that she was more righteous than those who were putting in 5 times the amount, because it was just a little portion of what they had. And then they were talking about the Mikdash, which is the temple, and how beautiful it was. And Joshua said, "Not one stone will be left upon another." And then his disciples started asking him about when it was going to be, when was the time of all this going to happen. And he starts giving them future prophecies and telling them the things that were going to happen, that the nation will rise against nation, and that there will be pestilence, and bad things will happen. And so they said, "Be ready, stand ready." And then he gave them stuff, and then here we are back in the temple.
Okay, all right, let's get into this, guys. Lucas 22. And the festival of Matzah, drew near, which is called Pesach, and Passover. And for those who didn't know, and the chief Kohanim and the scribes were seeking how to kill him, for they feared the people. And Satan entered into Yehuda, Judas, who was called Kirioth, who was called of Kirioth, who was numbered among the 12. And he went and spoke with the chief Kohanim and captains, how he might deliver him up to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him silver. Now, for those who don't know, this is back in the days of our Messiah. We have the same things today, and when I say religious zealots, I'm not talking about the actual zealots, the ones that were they were there to kill off those who who were the Sadducees and the Pharisees and all of these guys. They were just like the Christians of today. They didn't just keep the Torah. They had a whole set of guidelines. They had a whole set of rules. They have this thing in Judaism, they call it the oral Torah. And it's where inside the oral Torah that they got things like you have to wash your hands before you eat, which is probably a good idea, but there is 0 Torah commands that have us washing our hands before we eat. And our Messiah got into a lot of matches with these guys. And you do not want to get into an argument with the greatest attorney of all times, which is our Messiah. And Messiah Yahushua, he grew up with his father. We do not believe in the Trinity at all. And when we just got done with the book of Deuteronomy, it said in Deuteronomy that our Elohim is a jealous El. Now, if you're a jealous Elohim, you're not going to share the divinity of the ownership of all of this with anyone else. And our Messiah, Yahushua, has never ever said he was Elohim. He never ever said he was the creator of the universe. He says he always came in his Father's name, doing the will of his Father. And prior to creation, and there's no real record. We don't know how long our Messiah was with his dad. It could be what we know of as billions of years or more. We don't know what the actual lifespan of when our Messiah grew up with his dad, but there is no better representation. There's no better somebody who knows the Torah better than our Messiah. And so what all these religious fanatics were doing, the Sadducees and all of the Pharisees, is they saw that our Messiah was very, very powerful in understanding of the Torah. And this messed with these guys, right? You didn't become a Pharisee and a Sadducee unless you had a position of power, unless you were voted into this little clique and you had all this power and everyone bowed down to you, that you were a made man back in the time. And so all of these guys had no way how to stop our Messiah. And so it was when Judas, Yehuda, went and for whatever reason that he decided to turn on our Messiah. And there's a lot of things, because a lot of these disciples, they thought our Messiah was a gladiator. He was going to come and he was going to free them from Rome. He was going to have it like it was back in the days of King David, where King David had his own people, they had their cities, and they were protected by the hand of King David. They did not understand that our Messiah was coming in a different way, shape, and form, and they didn't get it. And so Judas probably got very upset when he figured out the Messiah was there for a different reason other than freeing them from the hand of the Romans, that he decided he was going to turn on him. And whatever happened when Satan got into him, he went to these people and literally turned over our Messiah to this. 5, and they were glad and agreed to give him silver, the 30 pieces of silver. And he promised and was seeking an occasion to deliver him up to them away from the crowd. Now, they had to do this because the people, you call them Jews, and when you say Jews, you're only talking about one tribe, right? You're not talking about the Hebrews. You're talking about people that have identified themselves as a single tribe. And in these days, it was literally 2 different tribes. You had Judah and you had Benjamin, and the 10 tribes were still dispersed all across. And so when Messiah Yahushua was talking about coming back for the lost tribes of Israel, that's who the people he was going throughout, all the Gentiles, and this is who he was talking to, a lot of these guys. So Judas couldn't just go and hand them over. They couldn't just come and grab our Messiah in the middle of the street, because all these people would rise up and they would beat the snot out of him. It wouldn't go over well because they did not have Rome to do what Rome was doing. And so they are seeking an occasion to get him isolated, to get him to where they can get him. And this is why they did this all in cloak and dagger in the middle of the night. These people are very evil. They're very, very evil. They're maniacal and scandalous. When they're coming to do what they're doing, it's absolutely a scandalous people. 7. And the day of Matzah came when the Pesach had to be slaughtered. And he sent Kepha and Yochanan, saying, go and prepare the Pesach for us to eat. And they said to him, where do you want us to prepare? And he said to them, see, as you enter into the city, a man shall meet you carrying a jar of water. Follow him into the house. You shall say to the master of the house, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room where I might eat the Pesach with my Talmidim? And he shall show you a large furnished upper room. Prepare it there. And going, they found it as he said to them, and they prepared the Pesach. These verses, it's just a couple of verses here, but when you think about this entire incident, right? They had to go and they went and they saw a guy carrying water. They followed the guy there, and they all of this stuff is miraculous, right? All of this is knowing the future, knowing what is to take place, and over and over and over, our Messiah showed that he had extracurricular power and insight, that he was able to see things like this. All this stuff is all miracles. 14. And when the hour had come, he sat down, and the 12 emissaries were, and he said to them, with desire I have desired to eat this Pesach with you before my suffering. For I say to you, I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is filled in the reign of Elohim. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine until the reign of Elohim comes. And taking bread, giving thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Likewise the cup also, after supper, saying, this cup is the renewed covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. But see, the hand of him delivering me up is with me on the table. For indeed, the son of Adam, the Ben of Adam, goes as it has been decreed. But woe to that man by whom he is delivered up. And they began to ask among themselves, which of them it could be who was to do this. And there also took place a dispute among them as to which of them seemed to be greater. And he said to them, the sovereigns of the Gentiles rule over them, and those who control them are called workers of good. But not so with you. But let him who is greatest among you be as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves. For who is greater, the one who sits at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who sits at the table? But I am in your midst as the one who serves. But you are those who have remained with me in my trials. And I covenant for you, as my Father covenanted for me, reign, to eat and drink at my table, in my reign, and to sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Yisrael. And the Adon said, Shimon, Shimon, see, Satan has asked for you to sift as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that your belief should not fail. And when you have turned, strengthen your brothers. Now, this is one of these things that just these two verses right here, this is sketchy, right? Imagine this, that Satan would know your guys' names. Not only that he would know your names, but that he wants to destroy you, that he wants to sift you as wheat, crush you up, grind you up, and spit you out. But Messiah will, pray for you, that your belief should not fail. And there's one thing about the Yah Scriptures is that we have a prison ministry, and there's not a lot of people that make it out of the prison system. There are a few. We have probably out of hundreds of people that we minister to, we've probably had maybe a dozen go. And there used to be a guy who came to our reading here, named was Scott Freeman. He's dead now. He died, but he in prison, he found Yah, and he came out. He was still seeking Yah. But I noticed that a lot of the guys that are in prison that are on fire for Yah, They come out and we have them on WhatsApp, and they have like dirty pictures. They have all these other things out there. People that were leaders of people inside prison that know that we shouldn't be corrupting ourselves, that we shouldn't be doing this. And it always comes down to the planter, right? The parable of the guy with the seeds, right? Some of the seeds is into good dirt, and the good dirt springs up and it gives 30, 100-fold. But then sometimes the seeds fall into the rocks. Sometimes the roots don't take hold. Sometimes these things. And so all of us, every single one of us, need to continue to pray that all of us are found worthy, that we don't fall away in this world, because Satan will bring things before us. And if he knows you by name, if he's willing to sift people like wheat, he knows your name. He knows your family. He knows all about you. He knows what it's going to take to corrupt you, what it's going to take to get you off the narrow path. So never ever forget about praying and seek him where he's able to be found, which is in prayer. 33. I said to him, Adonai, I am prepared to go with you, both to prison and to death. Now this is Kepha, right? This is the rock. And he said, I say to you, Kepha, the cock shall not crow at all today until you have denied 3 times that you know me. And he said to them, when I sent you without any purse and bag and sandals, did you lack any? And they said, none at all. And he said to them, but now let him who has a purse take it, likewise also a bag, and let him who has no sword sell his garment and buy one. Now, it's fascinating that you get into the Christian religion, right? The Christians will sit there and they will completely corrupt scriptures. They will misquote all of this stuff. They're like, well, we're just going to go off and become missionaries in this thing as they go corrupt everybody, and with this fake salvation and this fake way and all this other stuff. This verse right here is our Messiah equipping his people for the next journey, right? It's not all about not taking a bag, not taking an extra set of clothes, right? Because that was the mission to begin with. But now the mission has completely changed, because it is to the point where our Messiah is literally saying, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. And a lot of people don't understand what our Messiah was doing. He was simply equipping people for the next part of this mission. We're not all supposed to go into this battle just to get annihilated, right? We're not supposed to go into this world just to get owned and misquote scriptures. That's why all of the scriptures, from the front of the book to the very end of the book, understanding it, reading it, and applying it to our lives. You can't just be like the Christians that will quote Paul for their salvation, right? They will sit there and they will tell you you are a heretic because they have Paul, and Paul said this, he said that, and all of a sudden Paul has become their Elohim. They worship Paul. They worship the ground he walks on. And if you challenge what Paul says, then you are going to hell, according to the Christians. So make sure that all of our scriptures are completely in context, that we understand from the front of the book to the end. 37. For I say to you, what has been written has yet to be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned with lawless ones. For that which refers to me has an end too. And they said, Adonai, look, here are 2 swords. But he said to them, that is enough. And they, again, you see the misunderstanding of these guys. They still didn't understand what our Messiah was all about. We have an advantage over all these guys, right? Because we have the scriptures right before us. We know what the end of the book looks like, where they didn't even have that book written when they were there. But 2 swords is enough. 39. And coming out, he went to the Mount of Olives according to usage, and his Talmudim also followed him. And coming to the place, he said to them, pray that you do not enter into trial. Great words for all of us today, right? Pray that our Creator does not, it's not going to stop us from getting trials. Again, Messiah says this earth is a great place to test the human beings. So be ready. But understand that we must come through, that we must never lack the faith, that we must never put the blame on our Creator, that, we need to take these challenges, and we need to understand that it's going to be a challenging world, right? We're not going to get into Shemaim without the test of this world. 41. And he withdrew from them about a stone's throw, and falling on his knees, he was praying, saying, Father, if it be your counsel, remove this cup from me, yet not my desire, but let yours be done. Guys, this is a Trinity breaking verse, right? This is like people that sit here and fight the Trinity and say that the Father and the Son are the same individuals have never read their scriptures. If they have read them, then the devil is covering their eyes because they don't understand this. Right here, our Messiah said in proper English, Father, if it be your counsel, remove this cup from me. Yet not my desire, but let yours be done. If our Messiah is the same as his Father, this makes him a little odd person right here that is basically a little schizo, right? And I do not believe that he is schizophrenic. I do not believe that he has multiple personalities. I believe he is telling us exactly what it is, because there's no place in Scriptures anywhere that he identifies as his Father. Nowhere. 43. And there appeared a messenger from the Shamaim to him, strengthening him. And being in agony, he was praying more earnestly. And sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And rising up from prayer and coming to his Talmudim, he found them sleeping from grief. And he said to them, Why do you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you enter into trial. And while he was still speaking, see a crowd. And he who was called Yehuda, one of the 12, was going before them and came near to Yahushua to kiss him. The kiss of Judas. And Yahushua said to him, Yehuda, do you deliver up the bin of Adam with a kiss? And those around him, seeing what was about to take place, said to him, Adonai, shall we strike with the sword? And one of them struck the servant of the Kohen Hagdadal and cut off his right ear. And we know from other scripts that this was the rock. This was Kepha. But Yahushua answered and said, allow it this far. And touching his ear, he healed him. And Yahushua said to those who had come against him, the chief Kohanim and captains of the Mikdash of the temple and the elders, have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs? While I was with you daily in the Mikdash, you did not lay hands on me. But this is your hour and the authority of darkness. And having seized him, they led him and brought him to the house of the Kohen Hagdadal, and Kepha was following at a distance. And again, these demons, these people all possessed by demons, thinking they were doing the right thing, protecting their own power, protecting their religious system, did this in the middle of the night, right? So that they had no people that could say, hey, what are you guys doing? Don't do this. This was a caper. This was a thieving group of people in the middle of the darkness. And when they had lit a fire in the midst of the courtyard and sat down together, Kepha sat among them. And a certain servant girl, seeing him as he sat by the fire, looked intently at him and said, and this one was with him. But he denied him, saying, woman, I do not know him. And after a while, another saw him and said, you are one of them too. But Kepha said, man, I am not. And about an hour later, another insisted, saying, truly, this was one with him too, for he is a Galilean too. But Kepha said, man, I do not know what you are saying. And immediately, while he was speaking, a cock crowed. So you had the rooster that was just set for this time. And who could have ever predicted that Kepha would have denied our Messiah 3 times before the rooster was able to crow? And the Adon turned and looked at Kepha. And Kepha remembered the word of the Adon, how he had said to him, before a cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. Bitterly. And the men who were holding Yahushua were mocking him, beating him. And having blindfolded him, they were striking him on the face and were asking him, saying, Nabba, prophesy, who is it that struck you? And they said to him much more, blaspheming. And when it became day, the elders of the people, both chief Kohen and scribes, came together, and they led him into their council, saying, if you are Hamashiach, say to us. And he said to them, if I say to you, you would not believe it at all. And if I ask you, you would not answer me at all. From now on, the son of Adam, the ben of Adam, shall sit on the right hand of the Almighty Yahuwah. Again, this is a Trinity breaking verse, right? Just like all scriptures that go through there, there's no one that says our Messiah and his dad are the same individuals. How are you going to sit on the right hand of the Almighty Yahuwah if you are Yahuwah, right? You pose this to the Trinitarians, and they will pick up their rocks and they will hit you, and they're like, oh, you just don't understand. You don't understand your scriptures. You don't have it figured out. Even though our Messiah very clearly says it, and he would have to be able to tell lies, which we know that would defeat the entire purpose of him being the ultimate sacrifice. He couldn't be a liar and be that lamb on the stake for us. It would not make any sense. It couldn't happen. So we either have to take him at his word, or the other people are liars, right? The other people that have their eyes closed and can't figure this out. 70. And they all said, you then are the son of Yahuwah, the ben of Yahuwah. And he said to them, you say that I am. And they said, why do we need further witness? For we heard it ourselves from his mouth. So they just condemned him for being the son of the Most High. And it was not really much of a crime, right? To say you're the son of Elohim. I mean, aren't we all supposed to be the children of the Most High? Isn't that what everybody was addressed as throughout the years? And so, all right, guys, I guess that is it. These are there's the parts of scriptures I dislike the very most are these ones where our Messiah is under conflict, where he is getting beat up, where he is, he's doing stuff that none of us would do, right? If all of us had the power to bring on 10,000 angels, legions of angels, and somebody's sitting there cracking us in the head, spitting on us, making fun of us, we're going to call down the angels. We're going to have all these people strung up on the trees. But our Messiah was able to take a beating. He was able to take this without fighting back. And he was very gentle with his words, right? None of us would ever be able to do this. There's nobody that would ever be able not to strike back at these people, yell back at them. You guys are out of your minds. Leave me alone. But yet, this is why our Messiah became the absolute perfect sacrifice. So,
All right.
all right,
I have a question for you.
let's do it.
Yahuwah remove our stony heart says, if cutting beards is sin, she says, my son has autism and his mustache bugs him on his lips, so I cut it down.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with cutting your beard.
Don't round the corners.
Yeah, that's the commandment is don't round the corners of it. And the reason that we have this is when you look at like the Egyptians, when you look at these pagan cultures, the Gentiles, right? They're always doing head decor. You always see these guys with a goatee, right? And when you look at a goatee, it's all satanic, it's all demonic, and they're just dressing themselves up, right? A beard is something of pride for Yah's people. And I'm not saying pride in an evil way. I'm saying that when King David's men were taken and they were stripped and they were beat up and they shaved part of their beard, King David was like, oh man, you guys go hang out in this other city till your beard regrows, right? It wasn't that they got stripped naked. It wasn't that anything other than these guys had defiled the man's beard. And so beards are absolutely a unique part of us. When you look at this girly man world that we are in these days, you got Gillette and you got all these shaven face guys when, you're not meant to have, we're men, right? That distinguishes a men from women. And it's just, just don't decor your face is the bottom line. So when they round the beard, it's a sin. Yeah, well, it's breaking commandments, right? They're not, I hate to say it, Jim Staley does this, right? Jim Staley's supposed to know the Torah, but you see this guy with a shaved up goatee all the time. And all these guys, right? People that know the Torah and don't keep the Torah, it astounds me. I get blown away with it. So yeah, you shouldn't be rounding your goatee. You shouldn't be shaving off part of it, decoring your face. Let your beard grow. It's a manly thing. It's an alpha male thing. It's a kingdom male thing. So, all right. Anything else, Mr. Gold?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, your hair is your strength. Absolutely. Women and men. There's nothing more beautiful than a woman's hair and, men with their beards, right? You're going to look like 25 years younger if you don't grow your beard. If you like shave it off and you get all that sun on you and your face gets all jacked, you're always cutting down on this stuff. It's not meant to be, right? I'll tell you, it was like the 1900s. Women did not shave their legs. They were not shaving their armpits. Men were not shaving. It was when Gillette came and started marketing to everybody that all of a sudden all the men and women, everybody's shaving all their stuff, trying to get silky smooth and all this other stuff. And, you know, when you're out in the middle of the jungles like we are, you want a little bit of hair everywhere, right? Because there's all sorts of little critters and bugs and all sorts of things. And hair is it's a little antenna. Right? It's how you know something's getting on you. It's how you know you don't just get completely owned. There's a lot of good reasons for it. And, you know, I've done videos on shaving, women shaving and stuff like this, right? There's all sorts of different affections and staph stuff and all sorts of bad stuff that happen when you are falling into the marketing ploy of Gillette and things of that nature. But with that, guys, we love you guys very, 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 very much. Truly, 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 the greatest part of our entire Shabbat is hanging out with all of you guys, and we love you. We love you dearly. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
He will rock you and guard you. He will make his face shine upon you and shall favor to you. He will lift his face upon you and give you peace.
Okay, all right. Our loves, enjoy the last song here.
Walking steady on this road you made. Every step guided by your ways. When I listen close, I understand all your truth held in your perfect plan. Rising higher than before, lifting praise from deep in my core. Lifting praise, Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. In the morning when I rise to pray, in the evening as I end each day, every word you speak becomes my song, teaching me where I belong. Rising higher than before, your truth is what I'm living for. Living for Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. I'm alive, your love surrounds me. Your love surrounds me. I'm alive, your truth is found me. Your truth is found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me. Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. To lift my hands to you. Forever lifting praise to you.
All right, everybody, may you walk in the way of righteousness, strengthened by his word, rooted in his Torah, clothed in his compassion, and filled with the ruach of wisdom.